In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect a SharePoint list to a Power Pages site. So as you see in the screen, this is a SharePoint list. Okay, so now my goal is to bring this list and render it into the Power Pages site. Okay, so this is one of the site which I have created earlier. So let me edit the site. Okay, let it load, but once it loads, I will show you more about what we are going to do in that. Now, for a while, let me talk about the SharePoint list. So SharePoint list is basically a table. It's a table with a multiple columns and rows. Okay, so it has some content in it. So I have just added one column called as title, and I've added this record. Okay, now my goal is to have this list exposed in the Power Pages site. Okay, so that means technically it's like kind of an association or connection between Power Pages and SharePoint. Now, this page is loaded over here. Now, let me go into data. Now, if you see in data, what I can do here in this is that I can get any Dataverse table within my site. Okay, I can use any of the Dataverse table, but I can't use SharePoint or any other technology within here. So, if you see this button over here, earlier there it was just a simple button. Now they have put a drop value to it, and it says new table and new table from external data. Now, if I click on new table from external data, it will ask me to set up some connections. Now, remember, I have already have this connection created. Now, in case if you haven't created a connection, then you need to click on new connection and then it will open a connection. And then you need to specify the SharePoint site name. Now, this is the SharePoint site name. Okay, uh, Girish team site. Okay, so this is the SharePoint site name. Now I've already provided this connection, so I'll click on the SharePoint. Okay, and I'll say add connection. I'll click on open connection, and then it will try authenticating the connections. And it says connect directly to the cloud service. I'll say okay, create it, and then it will ask for authentication. So let me log in the backend. So I'm now logged in, and it should show me the connection. Okay, now again, if I go back here, I just say refresh, then the SharePoint site, if you see this green tick, that means it is all connected and good to go. I'll click on next. Now here I need to specify the SharePoint URL, or like if you see here, I've already connected this site before, and that's why it is showing me over here. So I will select this site. Okay, you can pick any site whatever you want. This is my site. I'll click on next, and then it will, under the site, it will show me all the list. Okay, now here I have Giri Stones, Giri Countries, Aussie Sports. So these are some of the lists which I have in my site. So I'm interested in Aussie Sports. I'll click Aussie Sports, and it's a configure table and column names that will be used in Dataverse. So there will be kind of an automated mapping. So if I click on next, then it will start showing me the display name, plural name. So it is automatically picked up from the list. It will give you the schema name and the primary field title. I will not make any changes over here. However, you're free to do any changes over here. You can change the display name. Okay. If you don't want title, you can put name or any other things associated with it. You click on next, and then it will show you that the external data source is connected to a Dataverse table. If I click on finish, then it will create some sort of a reference. Now, if you see here, it says creating your virtual table. So virtual table means it will create a schema within Dataverse, which is connected to your backend SharePoint data source. So any change happening in the data source will be reflected in your virtual table. So it's kind of a two-way street whereby all the changes within your, say, Power Pages site will be affected within the SharePoint site as well. Okay, so that means if you add a record in SharePoint site, it will be shown in Power Pages site, and if you add anything in Power Pages site, it will be shown in the SharePoint site. Now, as you see over here, this particular table has been created. Now, let me add one more sport in it, and maybe I'll call it as say netball. Okay, and I'll just save this, and let me refresh this. Okay, so And if you see here, netball has come, so that means it is like a connected data source. Okay, so all this information will flow to and from. Now what you need to do in Power Pages site is come here, go to a page, and maybe I'll say page, click a new page, and I'll call it as sports. Say add, and then I will go and add a list. Now here in the list, I will create a new list, and I'll say choose a table. Now the table which we created is Aussie Sports. Select the data views. There is no view which we have found over here. So what we need to do is, like, again, go back here. So let me save this page, go back to your data list, Aussie Sports. Now here in views, let me create a new view and then call it as all sports, and I'll click on create. Now here I will be able to see the title column. I'll say okay, save and publish. Yes, now I think the it is saved and published. So let me go back to the pages. So let me go back to the pages we have created sports here. Now we can select this list, and in the list we can say new list, and here I can say Aussie Sports, and data views now all sports. It has come, so all sports PB Power Pages, and then done. Click on new permission, and then here I selected Aussie Sports, and access type is global. Read, add roles. Let me give this access to, say, anonymous users, okay, and even for authenticated users as well. And let me save this record. Once I save this record, I need to sync this changes, and then I can preview the desktop site. Now this is the sports page which we have just created and attached the list. The list is coming from a virtual table, and the virtual table is connected to a SharePoint site. Now this virtual table is loading over here. So as you see over here, now this list is being rendered. Now this will be like a live list. So if you go into the SharePoint, and if you go into, say, also sports, and if you say add one more sport, so if I add, say, basketball, and if I save it, then if I refresh it, if you see over here, it won't be that instantaneous. Okay, then I may need to go and sync the site. Okay, sync the configuration, and after a while, if all the configurations are synced up, then technically you should see basketball over here. Now as you see over here, here you can see the basketball. So that's it, folks. This is all about connecting the Power Pages site to a SharePoint site as a part of the virtual table experience, to extract the data from an external data source. Thanks for watching.